Well, welcome. Today we're going to Wunasari, and because we're going to Wunasari, I'd like to show you a house that has fascinated me for a long time, which I now find out is a Dukun's home. In order to get to Wunasari, we need to go down the mountain. So it's a lovely journey, and I hope you enjoy it with me. Now this is part of a new section to the magic of Java called The Real Magic of Java. In this new section, I'm going to focus on real people performing what they believe to be real magic in Java. I'll attempt to explain some of the elements of this Javanese magic, particularly what I describe as the Kejawen elements. However, I need to warn you that inevitably my explanations will be partial. Maybe sometimes some elements of what I say will be incorrect, for which I profusely apologise. But this reflects the oral tradition of magic in Java, the mystery, and at times, I have to admit, subterfuge surrounding the practice of magic in Java. Please accept my apologies, but I do hope you enjoy this new section. So here we are in Wunasari, which is the administrative centre for Gunung Kidul in the province of Jogja or Yogyakarta. On my sister channel, Java in the Raw, I somewhat jokingly commented that the only things available to buy in Wunasari are mobile phones, bags of rice, tombstones and pairs of knickers. But you'll see from this video, it's pretty much true. Although as we get to the outskirts, you can also buy motorcycle tyres. I have to say that I don't find most Javanese towns that interesting. I love the villages, I love the cities, but often the towns are something of a disappointment. Well, we've reached the Dukun's house now, and unfortunately he died some years ago, so the house is for sale, which is that de sign, that means for sale. And so therefore it's behind this fence, but I hope you can see it. Guarding his house are two Punakawan. They're the jesters, the fools in traditional wayang. In particular, these look to be Semar Messam himself. And as we move in, we can see two Naga guarding the entrance, a Naga above the head. And I used to think that statue was of Sunan Kalijaga, but it's not. It's actually of the Dukun himself, but he's got a hat similar to that worn by Sunan Kalijaga. And you can see all the animals above there and the statues protecting the house. So something that's fascinated me for a long time. So if you look at the top floor, you can see he's got various statues guarding the house there. You can see a number of lions. You can see more Punakawan. The soldiers you see there are the soldiers from the Kraton Guard, known as Lampore. And yeah, on just below there, that creature with the club, that's a gate guardian, and that's known as a Dwalapala, found commonly across all of Southeast Asia. There's a mermaid you can see there. There's the Lampore, more lions, Semar Messam again. Now I just wanted to point out to you the Arabic script. That probably isn't Arabic language, but Javanese written in the Arabic script, as it used to be, 200, 100 years ago. There is a Javanese script, which I don't see being used on this house at all. So as I've said, here's the Dukun himself, dressed in that all black uniform and having a blank on hat, very similar to Sunan Kalijaga, which is why I originally thought this was a statue of Sunan Kalijaga, but no, it is of the Dukun. As I say, he died some years. In fact, I think he died before I ever came to this house. It's always been empty, and it's now currently up for sale. I've got to say, since the first time I saw it, which was probably 6 years ago, I've always been fascinated with it. So guarding the gates are these Punakawan figures. They're the clowns or the jesters in Wayang. In fact, I think both of these are Semar Mesem. Now, Semar Mesem is, well, he's believed to be a descended god, but in Wayang he plays the fool, and he always comes out with the most outrageous theories, which by the end of the Wayang play, he's always proved to be right. Semar is believed to be the founder of Java, and so he's the god of Java and looks kindly on all the Javanese. In particular, he's meant to have come from the Jain Plateau and an area known as Chandi Semar. So yeah, he's very much associated with Java. In terms of mystical use, I mean, he is seen as protection. He certainly protects the Javanese people, but he's often also used in love spells. I think the significance here is for protection, however. Now, this is a Naga, a form common across all of Southeast Asia and indeed South Asia, because its origins are in India. Here in Indonesia, we tend to see it as a winged dragon or a winged serpent. And that follows on really from a Javanese animistic tradition. It can also sometimes be seen as a cobra, but this clearly looks much more like the Chinese dragon, doesn't it? It is used for protection. It's particularly associated with water magic and anything to do with water. So yeah, it's used for protection, but it also strangely enough can be seen as for love magic, but it's more of a general thing. So I think it's probably yet again to do with protection, particularly given where it is. So here we see a lion, or singa as they're known. Now in Javanese mysticism, lions are nothing like as common as tigers, probably because of tigers certainly were found in this part of Java. There are rumours they still are, whereas lions never have been. Clearly they're associated with strength, but they are found more, particularly winged lions are found more in Balinese culture, which of course originally does come from Java. And yeah, they do represent strength, but they are also about overcoming evil and counterbalancing evil. Perhaps that's what the mythology is here. I've got to admit, it throws me a little, this one. Now, this soldier or prajurit is in the uniform of the Kratons, or certainly the Kraton from Jogja. However, I believe that it represents a Lampore, and these are the spirit Javanese warriors, particularly those that protect near Kidul. So just as in my country, England, we have stories of old armies buried beneath the earth, ready to come and protect England again, then exactly the same myths are told about these Lampore. So they're spirits that will protect the Javanese people. But in particular, they're associated with Kidul, the Queen of the Southern Seas. They're associated with Mount Merapi, that's the volcano near Yogyakarta, and of course with the Kraton Palace in Yogyakarta itself. All across, I was going to say Southeast Asia, but I think it includes South Asia as well. It was bound to, because it comes from India, yeah. We find the Dwalapala, which are the gate guardians. So they're often guarding Buddhist or Hindu temples, royal palaces. Although in this part of Java, you see them everywhere, quite frankly, and they're always displayed holding that club like that. So again, this is definitely for protection, and particularly given where it's placed at these entrances. Now, as I say, I first discovered this house about 6 years ago. And when I first saw it, I actually thought it was a Kejawen temple or pura. I was later told, I was later told that yes, it was a pura and it had been closed by the government. But nothing of the sort. It's simply a Dukun's house. And these statues or patung are placed here to impress would-be clients. And I have to say that this time I'm much less impressed by it. And a part of this the reason is this topeng or mask. And I believe it doesn't actually have any significance, and maybe nor really do most of the things we've seen in this house. And that's because I think that they're just marketing tools for this Dukun to drum up work for himself. Because here you see a very Western representation of a mermaid. They're known as dayung in Indonesia, and yes, they are associated with love. In fact, you can buy a perfume called Air Mata Dayung, meaning mermaid's tears, which is supposedly a love spell. But these are very, very Western representations, aren't they? In fact, are they even mermaids? They're not, are they? They're just naked women. Yeah. He's just stuck anything here, hasn't he? Maybe he would claim that they were love spells or something, but I'm becoming very sceptical of this. And now I'm not necessarily calling him a Dukun Palsu, which means a false Dukun. I'm sure he probably did have powers. But like 90% of Dukuns, possibly more even, in this country, I think he played a few tricks on his clients, and yeah, that's what I'm beginning to understand this to be. Well, having been coming to this house for some 6 years now and been fascinated with it, I have to say that I'm now a little bit disappointed to have found out that it's as much showmanship as anything else. So we go back through Wunasari with me, well, I suppose a bit wiser, and all of you a little bit wiser. I have to say my experience of Dukun in Indonesia is that I suppose you could say almost all of them do use some sort of subterfuge or trickery. Because of the relationship between magic and stage magic is very close. So there's bound to be some. Crossover there. But of those who are calling themselves Dukun and using it for their own benefit, just as a business, and will tell the client anything they want to hear, I'd say is as high as 90%, maybe even 95%. So I suppose it should come as no surprise, but I am a little disappointed. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed this. Because these are real events, I can't say how regularly I'm going to be adding to this subsection. Because I don't know how often they're going to occur. But I would imagine that they'll be at least every couple of months, maybe monthly. Now, if you'd like to know when that's going to be, please subscribe and hit the button, and you'll get information on when new ones are released. I'd love you to make comments and ask questions, and if you do, I'll attempt to answer them as honestly as I can. I promise you that there's no attempt on this channel, or this part of this channel, of me. There'll be no attempt by me at any type of subterfuge. I'll try to be as honest and open as I possibly can be. Inevitably, there will be some of you who disagree with my interpretation, and we can agree to disagree. But what you're seeing is real stuff here. What I'd love you to do, if you enjoyed this, is look at my other sections. Particularly, I've written novels about magic in Java, and they contain much more information in them, especially me trying to understand the theories of magic, the psychology of it, and I try and intersperse them with a sort of spiritual dimension. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and God bless you.